Right now, Godzilla's out there and he's hurting people.
Oi, pessoal! Um super lançamento da Warner tá chegando agora em 2021 e dessa vez com uma batalha de proporções gigantescas. É claro que eu tô falando de Godzilla vs Kong.
We need Kong. The world needs him.
Eu sou a Valentina Pulgarín e esse é o nosso Inside Warner Godzilla vs Kong. Em 2019, eu fui até o Japão para conhecer um pouco mais os bastidores de Godzilla 2. Agora em 2021, obviamente, a situação tá bem diferente, então eu conversei com os atores e as atrizes dessa super produção diretamente da sala da minha casa.
Nice to meet you, Valentina. How are you doing?
Before we start, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Brazil because I have the impression that you've been here so many times.
I've been a bunch of times. I was obviously very excited about the press tour for Godzilla vs. Kong. We were supposed to come down to Brazil and do a big premiere and a party. Unfortunately, obviously we can do that, so we've got to make do with just a Zoom call. As soon as things open up, I'm coming back to Brazil.
E para me ajudar com todas essas entrevistas, a gente vai ter aqui a presença ilustre da Gaby Cam, que é a apresentadora da Warner Channel Latin America.
Can we talk about your shirt before we keep on going? Because I love it. I love it so much. I don't expect anything less from Julian.
Godzilla vs Kong é dirigido pelo Adam Wingard, que curiosamente vem de uma longa carreira em filmes de terror.
This is our only chance.
Do you feel like there is a good guy and a bad guy between Godzilla and Kong?
I got to play with Godzilla as more of like the villain side of him. I mean, he's a character who's kind of like a pendulum. He's gone from bad to good to bad again. And so I kind of lucked out on doing the movie where he gets to go bad again.
No, neither of them are villains. I think society is the real villain. They're just protecting the habitat. I think that's what we find so difficult to understand in our real world. It's like, why don't the whales want us to be here? It's like, well, that's their house. Would you want somebody to go in your house? There's something provoking him that we're not seeing here.
I'm of the same opinion. I think what's great about this film is that, we have the epic fight that everyone's been waiting for. Everybody knows that Godzilla and Kong have history in these streets, and it's finally time to see them battle. But what I really like the most about this movie is usually you are there for the monsters and the fights and everything like that, but the human element of this movie is something that plays a big part.
It is a monster film, like it is a big blockbuster film, but I think when kids and teenagers our age just take away that they can do something, they can do something if they stand together, if they find the right people around them.
And this child, she's the only one he'll communicate with.
Kaylee is extraordinary. She's so much fun.
Sit down next to someone who had never been on a film set before, let alone a film set of this enormity, and see her experience all of what's behind the curtain was really fun.
It's her first film, but she's so comfortable in front of the camera.
She's one of the better acting partners that I've ever worked with in my career.
She had nowhere to go, so I made a promise to protect her. And I think that in some way, Kong did the same.
It just kind of makes sense to follow Kong, and you in the movie can, because he's very emotive. So without actually talking, we still feel like we know him as a character.
These monsters have feelings. Like, seriously, like, part of me wanted to reach in and hug Kong. I'm like, man, that's hard.
Part of that also is the fact that Kong is very human, and he is the heart of the film.
E o ator mais simpático foi o poliglota Demián Bichir, que conversou com a gente em português, em espanhol e em inglês. Foi maravilhoso.
Oi, Brasil. Eu sou o Demián Bichir. Meu personagem é humano, brutal. Mi personaje son, en primer lugar, un mexicano que es astrodinamista.
These are dangerous times. Godzilla's out there and he's hurting people and we don't know why.
You know, watching this film, it's hard to imagine that the actors are reacting to something that's not there. So you as a director, how do you get them in that state of mind?
Sometimes the actors are just really great at what they do, and they just have a great imagination, and they need surprisingly little to do a lot. You know, they just kind of need to know where to look.
I think honestly, you have to be prepared to look fairly silly for 80% of the time, and then hope that some of it works, because you don't really know what you're reacting to.
Ese tipo de películas permite una oportunidad de reconectar con esa parte de creatividad como de un niño.
For like the more kind of like aggressive reactions, if they're reacting to like a big noise, we would actually play sound effects on set. Sometimes we would play music to help the emotions. But at the most part, it really just boils down to just getting good actors. Most of the time, they can pull stuff out of the hat that's just incredible.
I'm just always very surprised when I see a film like this when it's done, because I actually finally see what I've been imagining for the whole time. Like, oh, that's what the film is. I had no idea.
I keep reaching for greatness because I'm built from it.
Who bows to who?
Nobody gonna stop for me.
Kong bows to no one.
Well, I think what I loved about filming this is that we got to film it in 2 different places. So we got to film it in Hawaii and we got to film it in Australia.
Well, Hawaii, we did a lot of our location shooting. So a lot of our outdoor scenes, like the jungles.
For me, I'm such a hippie too, that I wake up and I go surf and then I go to set. Like, that was the dream.
Every time I think about filming this, I always think about the kangaroos, the koalas, the ocean.
The experience of being around the world shooting a movie like this, first of all, is I'm so grateful and so thankful.
Primarily, we went to Australia because of the large stages they have there. They have gigantic sound stages. We built 3 different sets. You know, you'd build one, shoot it, go to another set, they'd tear it down, you'd fill up the whole stage again, you know, and do that over and over again.
And the production design in this film is just really, really beautiful. That's the word.
The sets were so huge and so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was basically an amusement park.
It never ceased to amaze you. It's like, what is this large scale of a movie?
In a movie like this, you got to have as much space as possible.
The way movies are made nowadays are just incredibly beautiful, you know, and I'm just proud to be a part of that.
We probably had a bit too much fun sometimes. You know, we had to remember to like, oh, we got to shoot a movie as well. We can't just play around.
The studio's gigantic, and there's also a theme park next to it. It's a Warner Brothers lot. And it's crazy because you're like shooting a movie and you're inside the studio, and then you come out and you hear people, woo! And then you see just a roller coaster. It's really funny.
Is there something in that gigantic structure that right now you are still, wow, I can't believe we did that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things was like the sort of anti-gravity vehicle, which we call the Heave in the movie, was the fact that we built an entire full-size one that you could walk around, you could go inside of it.
When we were on the deck of the ship,
They built everything.
so for basically 2 weeks, we were in a swimming pool, just swimming around.
When I entered that set where we had this skull,
That one was probably the most impressive set we had, which I won't spoil.
when I entered the set, it was really, really overwhelming, you know.
That moment itself is like mind-blowing as an actor. You're like, wow, this is the big real world, my friends.
It's Godzilla.
Did you get the chance to watch it at home or in a movie theater?
I've only seen it at home. I hope that one day I'll get to see it in a cinema.
I watched it in a movie theater and I was so happy. It made me realize how much I miss movie theaters.
Legendary were so kind to invite me to a very private screening for one person only. It was just phenomenal.
I'm from New Zealand, so I'm in New Zealand at the moment, and we're doing pretty well over here with all our COVID restrictions. So we're able to safely go to a cinema. So it was really cool just watching it with some family and friends.
I think as long as you have someone that you love there to enjoy it with, I think that's what's so fun about films.
These type of movies is that they're obviously made to be seen on the big screen, but if they don't hold up at home, then, you know, what's the point? A good movie is a good movie, and so hopefully it plays wherever you watch it.
The myths are real.
Yeah.
There was a war. And they're the last ones standing.
How to arrange your house for a good movie experience at home?
sound.
The sound design is just colossal, as big as those monsters.
And everyone's got their home theater set up, you know, and buys the biggest screen possible. And yes, that's all very good and important. But even those huge screens, they can have terrible sound.
Do you feel like we somehow see ourselves reflected in these films, you know, despite the nature of the monsters?
The moral of these stories ends up being some approximation of when humans try and control anything, they invariably mess up.
Que nos hace pensar como seres humanos qué estamos haciendo, ¿no? Y creo que esta película logra eso de cierta manera.
Por más grande que sea tu capacidad de alcance, no es realmente buena si no está enfocada al bien común.
And in a way, I think Godzilla and Kong, they are reminders of how insignificant we are. It's a humbling experience. We're definitely not the apex predators we think we are.
Godzilla vs Kong tem cenas de ação incríveis e em breve vai chegar na sua casa.
I think for me, I think the one word would be big. The movie is big.
This is a movie that's made to throw your popcorn at the screen and just have a ton of fun. At the very least, this is a movie meant to be enjoyed with a crowd. And even if you have to do that over the phone with your friends watching it, this is meant to be a fun experience for everybody.
I just wanted to go and have a great time.
I hope that you enjoy Godzilla vs. Kong. You should go see it. It is a lot of fun.
Don't really want to see either one of them fall, but you know one has to.
There can't be two alpha titans.